What's going on, Canes fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Croot on the U, brought to you by the Scoop on the U. Back here with my co-host Luke Cheney. Luke, how you doing this afternoon, brother?
Doing all right, man. How about yourself?
Good. I guess I could say it's night for you, afternoon for me, but
Yeah.
night for you. Yeah. Well, we've got ourselves a recent offer actually backstage currently with us right now. We've got 2024 Edge Wyatt Gilmore from Rogers Senior High School in Minnesota, currently the number one ranked player in Minnesota. He was actually recently offered by Oregon and Oklahoma as well. Canes offered him on the 15th.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm excited to be on the show.
Man, love having you here, man. Love have that kind of attitude and stuff, man. We always like a big bright smile.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you for taking the time to join the show. And just like I said, before we went live, just letting Canes fans get a little more familiar with you and just understand you as a player. So yeah, once again, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
So I normally start this off here. What's your current height and weight?
I'm about 6'4", 245, 240-ish.
Okay. Have you had your wingspan measured?
No.
Okay. So what were some of the off-season workouts you did before this last season that you really felt took your game to a higher level?
I think just weight training, like explosively, and a lot of work over the summer, just on the field,
Hey, man. So, a lot of recruiting, or a lot of offers, I should say, as of late. I mean, Oklahoma, Miami, Purdue, Oregon. Just how does it feel to, be receiving all these love from these really good schools?
I mean, it definitely does make me happy and boost my confidence a lot. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna get my head too big, but it's glad to know that I'm appreciated by other schools like that.
Yeah, for sure. And, specifically about Miami, just tell me, how did that offer come about?
Yeah, so I've been talking to Coach Maloof for a while now, and he said he was just waiting till he could really get the rest of the coaching staff to see my film, and then he said when they saw it, they loved it, and the the tight ends coach was kind of fighting for me as a tight end a little bit too.
Okay.
And yeah, he told me to call me, and then after school one day I just called him, and then he just let me know they got an offer, and I was pretty ecstatic. That was a pretty exciting one for me.
So do you play some tight end as well?
Yeah.
Got you. Cool. So, just tell me then, how would you describe yourself as a player to someone who's never watched you?
I'd say I'm a really explosive player. I'm definitely a playmaker.
Mm.
Yeah. I'll play anywhere on the field that my team will need me.
So what would you say your team's biggest rival is?
Just across the town, Elk River. That's our team rival.
What was it like the last time you guys battled?
They did beat us pretty bad. They're a wing T offense, so it's just annoying to play against. And they've been like that for 50, 60 years. But they won the state championship this year, which is pretty hard to deal with.
That wing T is just annoying as hell, like you said.
Yeah.
What is your, in your mind anyways, what's the toughest battle that you guys faced this season? Was it the rival, or was there another team that you faced that was even tougher?
I'd say Armstrong during the conference to get to the semifinals. I don't remember what game that was, but it was Armstrong, and we were down at halftime, and I wasn't playing very good in the first half, but then during the second half, just in the locker room, everyone's getting hyped, everyone's getting pumped, getting ready to go out there and fight, and then in the second half, I ended up having 2 forced fumbles and a strip sack.
Man, that's a productive.
Yeah, we won that one. So
yeah. How far did you guys get in the playoffs?
State semifinals. So if we would have beat the team that we lost to, we would have faced our rivals in the state championship, which would have been crazy. And I think we're probably the only team that could have stopped them that year, even though we lost pretty bad. But we had injuries in the beginning of the season that were really weighing us down when we played them. But we've just played them so much, and our D-line coach, he is just obsessed with just trying to beat them. So, even when he's just teaching in history class, he's watching their film. And I think out of any team they could have beaten them, we definitely could have been the ones to do it.
It's a 2-part question here. Forgot for you. What is your favorite drill, and what is the toughest drill you go through?
Favorite drill? I'd probably say board drill, because it's just hype, and it's just going head to head against, your teammate, and it's just getting everyone better overall. And the hardest one, definitely our bear crawl, drills. And I mean, that doesn't seem that hard when you say it, but when you go through it, we have everyone's holding the bag, and then you have to go through them, and they're just rocking you. You have to like bear crawl through, and everyone's just rocking you. And that's definitely the hardest one. We do it every Wednesday. We call it Bear Crawl Wednesday, and all the coaches get super hyped for it. And this one time, it rained, so it was just completely muddy. And that was definitely the funniest thing that's happened the whole football season, was just the coaches were kicking mud. Everyone was kicking mud at each other, and it was just hilarious practice. But that's definitely the hardest drill.
So let me ask you, man. Florida high school football is known for its speed and elusiveness. Georgia is known for its quarterback play. How would you describe Minnesota high school football?
I'd probably say, the linemen are mainly produced out of Minnesota, just because it's kind of a run-heavy state, because obviously when it gets cold, it gets really cold in Minnesota. So towards the second half of the season, no one's really passing that much.
Got you. So it's kind of a ground and pound,
sure.
You can get type thing.
Yeah,
for sure. And let me also ask you, given that you do play, you do play on the edge, you do play tight end. What do you think your biggest strengths are at both positions?
This kind of works with both, but just kind of the mentality of the guy in front of me. I'm gonna beat him up every time, and it's like it's either me or him who's gonna get embarrassed, and I'm not gonna let it be me.
For sure, it's a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
And and contrasting that, what do you think your biggest weaknesses are right now as a player? Just things that you want to improve on, moving forward.
So biggest weakness, I'd probably just say, I'm kind of raw at both positions, because up until like halfway through the preseason of 10th grade, I used to play running back. I've never played D-line before, never played tight end before, so it's just like I'm just pretty new to it.
So what prompted that position change?
Just grew out of being running back. I was just too tall.
Fair, yeah.
When did you hit that growth spurt?
Kind of, 9th grade. I think I was maybe like 6 foot, and then I all of a sudden got to 6'2", and then I think I was 6'3" going into the sophomore season. So then just 6'3", getting a little too tall for me.
Just kept going. Yeah. How do you plan on showing leadership to your team this next season? Moving into a role where, you're going to have players looking up to you. How do you plan on showing leadership, with actions, vocal, or a little bit of both?
All right, so a lot of the kids already do follow me. They're always going to kind of look up to like the better players on the team, but I'm definitely going to show my leadership through just never hanging my head. And that's one of the things I've always prided myself on, is just never being mean to a player. If someone messes up, I'm always right next to him, encouraging him, picking him up, and just always having a positive attitude. And that's like the number one thing I think I would look for in a leader. Because, if the leader of your team is just in a bad mood, just hanging his head, the rest of the team's going to follow. And I'm not going to allow my team to do that.
What's the legacy you want to leave behind at your high school when it's all said and done? What do you want to be known for? What kind of player do you want to be known for?
I want to be known as a passionate player and someone who kind of got everyone involved. And I want everyone to remind me as just, a nice guy who was just nice to everybody, along with being a football player.
And do you have any goals? I know it's still a long time away, but do you have any goals right now for that senior season?
I want to win the chip.
Chip. Sounds good, man. Do you have any individual goals, or just mostly team-based?
I'd say individually, I probably want to get like 15 sacks, but, we'll see. Definitely just the team goal is just win the state championship, and that's what I'm really focused on.
For sure. And then with your recruitment, what do you have any plans to do with schools this spring?
Huh?
I said with your recruitment, do you have any set-in-stone plans to visit any schools in the spring?
So we're going to Miami this weekend for the 4th on the junior day.
Okay.
That right now is the only one that's set in stone, but I'm definitely going to try. I definitely got a lot more in mind that I'm going to line up soon.
Awesome. What are you most excited to see or experience at junior day? Just what are your expectations for that?
I'm just excited to just, meet the coaches and get the overall feel of the environment, feel of the campus and the program.
Mm-hmm. And then, aside from Miami, what are some of the other schools right now that are really showing you a lot of love?
Minnesota, Oregon, Purdue, Iowa, K-State, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Those are definitely ones that are showing the most love right now.
And you actually have a tie to one of our current players. From what I remember, your dad and Jackson Carver's dad played ball together. Was that in high school or college?
But I was in college. I haven't really talked to Jackson, but when I got the offer, he DM'd me and he's like, "Can't wait to hang out with you when you're down here." But yeah, I'm pretty sure our parents just played together in college, or our dads.
Man, we're big fans of Jackson. We've had him on the show here a couple times. He pops in and out occasionally, even in our chat, just to come by and say, "What's up, dude?" So he's an awesome guy, dude. He's a great example of what we want to have at Miami as far as our players, especially their mentality.
Yeah, can't wait to meet him.
I got 3 words for you, man. Miami Hurricanes football. What do those 3 words mean to you, Wyatt?
I think just the legacy of the program. They've always been known as like a winning. I mean, not always been known as a winning program, but because they've roller coaster. But I think they're definitely a winning program, and I just want to get down there and just get the overall feel. Just legacy.
So let me ask you, man. A very random question, but I ask everyone: who's on your game day playlist?
Game day playlist. Ooh, I don't know. DMX, he's definitely on there. Lil Baby. Those are definitely 2 of the main ones that are on there. I got most of their songs.
For sure. And then, I also want to ask you, it could be, because you play both positions, could be a tight end, could be an edge rusher. Just who are the players that you watch in college, NFL, retired, doesn't matter, that you take things from their game and then add it into yours?
I mean, tight end, probably I like watching George Kittle a lot, just the way that he run blocks and the way that he just gets yards after the catch. And yeah. And then defense. I don't know. I watch a lot of them.
Wyatt, go ahead and give a shout out here to some of your, coaches, trainers, family, teammates, people who have helped you along your football journey. Show them some love.
Yeah, I'd love to give a shout out to my parents, my mom, Anna, my dad, Jeff. Want to give a shout out to my head coach, Mark Fran, for helping me through the recruiting process. Shout out to God as well, helping me and guiding me through everything with every decision I make.
Absolutely. Do you personally yourself, while you're listening to maybe some DMX, Little Baby, or anything like that, are you just kind of quiet in the zone when you're doing that? Or are you pumped up and running around the locker room getting ready to just burst out the door on the field?
I think it starts off with a little bit just kind of hanging my head listening to it. And then when I get in the zone, then I'm just pumped up and everyone's just going crazy.
What's next for Wyatt Gilmore in terms of football? What do you got coming up next on your schedule?
Like visit-wise?
Yeah, visit-wise at Miami?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the closest one on the 4th, and we're flying out tomorrow. And then after that, either Minnesota or Oregon, I think.
Nice, man. So just last question I have for you. What are your off-season goals? I know we talked about, some of the goals you have for next season, but what do you want to get done this off-season in that time?
Goals for it?
Yeah, just for the off-season. Yeah. Any particular things you're trying to achieve?
I mean, kind of a vague goal, but just staying as consistent as possible with just training and lifting weights.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And actually just one more I forgot about. When you ultimately make that college decision, just what are the factors that that are most important when you're deciding that? What do you want to see from the colleges? What do you want to see from the coaches, when making that decision?
Definitely obviously the coaches, like the head coach and positions coach, because those are the people I'm going to be working with every day. But the head coach, he definitely is a huge factor in it because everything ultimately is run by him. So if you don't like the head coach, then you're not going to like the program. And then I'd say overall vibe and like feel of the culture and just the program and the campus. Just once you're there, you kind of know how you feel about it.
Well, I just got two more questions here. Actually, one of them's not even a question. It's a go ahead and plug your social media accounts so the good people can find you on social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that.
All right, so my Instagram is Wyatt.Gilmore, and then my Twitter is WyattGilmore9.
Are you on any other ones? Just those two?
Just those two.
Okay. Well, this is the last question I got for you, man. And Wyatt, this is a question that I ask every single recruit that we bring onto this show. This is how we end it for every interview. Why do you love the game of football? Where do you get that passion to go out there and compete at such a high level on a weekly basis?
I'd say it just started from my dad, just wanting to be like him, and then just growing up and just loving the game and just growing to love the game even more and just training, just everything you do. You just learn to love it. You just learn to love the process. And one of the things is like the brotherhood of a team is just something you have to be there. There's nothing else like it.
A lot of guys say the brotherhood, and the other answer we often get to is that you can legally put hands on people and not have to worry about going to jail.
Yeah.
That's usually the two answers we get, especially from the trenches.
Yeah.
Well, man, Luke, did you have anything else here for our fantastic guest?
No, that's all I got, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Appreciate you guys' time.
Yeah.
Wyatt, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we definitely want to stay in touch and be able to bring you back on in the future so we can update Canes fans about your development, your recruitment, and all that stuff. So we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yes, sir.
You have yourself a great night.
You too. Appreciate it.
All righty. We've got our next one, but it's saying devices not connected yet.
Any luck?
I just sent him a message. I mean, he is backstage. He just has got
to. Yeah, and it's just
just turn on his mic cam.
Yeah, streaming wise, it's a little sometimes some issues. But in the meantime, did you hear that Chaminade and Central are playing against each other this year?
No, I didn't.
Yep, playing against each other. I believe September. I want to say it was 22nd. Frank Tucker announced it, I believe, yesterday. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. That is the matchup that I think kind of everyone wants to see this year. Best team in Broward versus the best team in Dade, and they're going to be very good next year, both of them, and we're going to see it. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
We have got our guest backstage here. He was able to get his issues worked out. We have got with us 2024 quarterback Anthony Maddox from Oak Grove High School in Mississippi, a current Texas A&M commit. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man?
Hold on, let me fix my camera.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, how you doing?
We're doing great, man. Thanks for taking the time to join us tonight and let Canes fans get a little more familiar with you as a player.
Yes, sir. I'm grateful and I'm blessed for you guys allowing me to come on and talk ball with you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I always like to start it off with what's your current height and weight?
6'1.5". Some people have me listed at 6'2", 6'1". Either way, but I'm 6'2", 6'1", 175.
Okay. What were some of the off-season workouts you did before this season that you feel helped take your game to a higher level?
Man, a lot went into having a successful season this year. It didn't go the way it didn't go as planned. We got put out second round, but just staying after practices, throwing a lot with my receivers, a lot of weight training. I'm not at the weight that I would like to be right now, but a lot of weight training, a lot of speed training. A lot of that went into playing a huge factor in our success this season, and those were the main things.
What's up, Anthony? It's a pleasure to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you. How are you?
Yeah. You mentioned that you're not at that end goal weight yet. Do you have like a benchmark to what that is?
I would like to be before the season around the 180 mark, 185 if that's possible. So as much weightlifting and a lot of eating, a lot of pork, chicken, whatever I can eat, to put on a few pounds. That's what I'm doing right now.
For sure, man. And just how would you describe yourself as a player to someone who hasn't, watched your film?
Man, I'm a leader first. I love to galvanize the guys together to come as a whole, as a group. Because chemistry is the biggest thing that you need to, have a successful season and just build that, that montage around, But I feel like I'm a dual threat guy. I can make things happen when there's nothing there. I can make any throw on the field. My receivers love catching balls from me. I'm gonna throw it where they want it, and I'm gonna allow them to make plays. I know the best thing a quarterback can do is get the ball out of his hands quick and get it to his playmakers, and I have a lot of great playmakers.
For sure. And then, yourself, you growing up in a football family, your dad being drafted or playing the NFL, your brother, also being a recruit as well, along with you. Just how has being in that type of environment really helped you, throughout your young career?
And it's my dad has basically molded me into the guy I am right now. I'm just being around that locker room at an early age, being inside, seeing guys like Andre Johnson. He's actually a former Cane. He actually bought my first actual bed, as a kid. So that was a blessing. But just being around that professionalism all of the time, man, it just molded me into who I am today. Just being that leader, having so much confidence and just understanding what the game is really supposed to look like day in and day out. So those are the main things that I take away from that.
You were talking about wanting to get to a little more strength and add a little more weight. What are some of the weight room goals that you're currently going through this offseason?
I'm actually in baseball right now, so the weight training hasn't really started. I lift on my own a little bit, but I don't want to really affect myself. But I think increasing my bench press, squats, front squats, reverse lunges, deadlifts, all of those explosive movements, that's going to allow you to play fast on the field and be physical. Those are a lot of the weight training that will be involved in my development.
And this question is always kind of for fun. Fans are always interested. How far can you sling the rock? How far can you toss the ball?
Man, I always tell people, during the game, you're never really going to throw the ball over 55 yards. If you do that, you probably make a bad read. But if I'm just playing around with the guys, I can probably get it out to about 73. That far, it's about 73.
Holy shit, man. Wow. So, yeah. You mentioned you played baseball. I'm just curious what position.
I'm a shortstop.
Shortstop. Got you, man. And, going back to football, of course, just what do you think your biggest strengths are as a quarterback right now?
Right. Like I said, man, earlier, just being able to lead the guys, to come together and play good team ball and having that chemistry. But I think, like I said, just being a dual threat guy, being able to make plays outside of the pocket, being able to, make pocket movements to evade rushers, and just like I said, being able to make all the throws on the field is very key to have, very precise accuracy as a quarterback, and being able to make full field reads and pre-snap reads, all of those things I feel like are in my game, and as a quarterback, you must have. So those are very key elements that I have.
For sure. And then what do you think are the areas of your game that you still want to improve on moving forward?
Right. All of those things I feel like I can pattern my game and get better at, but I think the main thing is just pre-snap. Seeing what I want to see, being able to process and say, hey, if I see this is what it is, or that, those are some things that I'm still working on, and speed, being able to make guys miss one-on-one. I am a dual threat guy, but I feel like just improving my speed and just agility and being able to make guys miss is a huge factor in my game and my development.
Are you more comfortable passing from the pocket or on the run?
I'm a pocket passer first, man. I love to make throws from the pocket, especially when it's clean. But if it's not, I'm still able to sit in the pocket and make throws and read the field. But I feel like when I'm in the pocket is where I'm best.
What gets you most excited on game day?
Man, just I don't really look at who we play. Um, I take every opponent the same. Whether you're, good, if anyone thinks you're good or you're a bad team, I look at everyone the same because you really can't ever underestimate anyone because you can get beat any night. Playing in 6A football. So, but I feel like things that get me going. Just seeing the guys being ready in the locker room, coming from our last class, and just being ready and focused, having the headphones on, and I know that it's time for me to lock in and you know and just lead those guys in the right direction to play good team ball that night.
That's actually one of the questions I was going to ask you about was leadership at quarterback. How do you display that to your teammates? Are you vocal? A lot of actions? How do you do it?
Well, last year was my first year, as a varsity starter, so it was a little different from me. But I saw the year previous of that, our starting quarterback, Cade Barnett. He is now at Hines Community College. I just saw him, how he wasn't a big rah-rah guy. He kind of just led by example, his work ethic. And I kind of took some things out of his game, but I can be kind of quiet, and especially if I'm not around, a lot of people I know. But the way that I like to lead is, like I said, by example, my work ethic. And, I will say some things to some guys if I feel like, you're not going as hard, but I have to make sure that I'm doing the right things first, so because if I'm not doing the right thing, why would I tell you, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like those are some things that, that gets the guys going for me.
And then talking a little bit about your recruitment, what made you fall in love with Texas A&M?
Right. It wasn't long after I got the offer from Texas A&M that I committed.
Yeah.
And the thing that really showed me was, how they really knew everything about me, and it was like, they were, I had been knowing them for years now, and I've been keeping up with Coach Jimbo Fisher for forever. At Florida State, I was a huge Florida State guy. I always wanted to go to Florida State as a little kid. And just Coach Petrino, him being able to develop quarterbacks. We've seen him develop Lamar Jackson, Teddy Bridgewater, even Malik Cunningham, who's in the draft now. We've seen him develop guys, and you see where they are now, and it's like, I'm just hoping that be me one day. So those were the main things that that was involved in this.
You were a big Jameis Winston fan growing up?
Him as well. Like I said, I was a big Florida State fan, so he was definitely part of that mix.
For sure. Those 2012, 2013 Florida State teams were serious, man. Talking a little bit about Miami, I know you recently got an offer from them. Just tell me how that came about.
Actually, if you guys remember Coach Frank Punts, the quarterback coach, he's now at App State. Wonderful guy. He's a good guy, great guy. He came to see me throw about maybe 4 months ago at my school in the morning. I actually had an ACT right after I left the throwing session. So they were following me up. I didn't get the offer right then, obviously, but they stayed in touch with me. And Coach Cristobal, he's always been in touch with me. And Coach Frank Ponce ended up leaving. So, I was kind of like, hey, man, Miami may not be the option for me, but Coach Cristobal and Coach Shannon Dawson ended up coming around, and they extended the offer to me. They really love my film and how, like I explained to you guys earlier, everything about my game they love. So I'm looking forward to building a great relationship with those guys, and we'll see where we go from there.
For sure. Yeah. Have you spoken to Coach Dawson already?
I have. He, like I said, he was the one who offered me.
Okay.
And some questions that he was asking me was like, "Hey, man, if we do this, are you actually willing to, build a connection, build a relationship, and are you actually willing to come up here now that you're committed to A&M?" And I basically tell him, "Hey, man, you guys were one of the top schools on my list. I didn't have an offer, so there's not too much I can do." But like I said, man, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Now, like I said, I'm looking forward to getting up there and meeting everyone, the coaching staff, and Soon me too, guys. So that's where I'm at with that.
For sure. And then last question I want to ask as far as your recruitment. I know you already committed to A&M, so the question's a little different in that regard. But just what are the most important factors that you want to see from these colleges and from these coaches when making that final college decision?
Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
No, you're good. I just preface by saying I know you're already committed to A&M, so the question's a little different. But just what are the most important factors and the things that you want to see from these coaches and from these colleges when making that final decision?
Right. I just want a program that can develop me the best. Obviously, I'm trying to put some weight on. So any college, I know a lot of these colleges can put me on, nutritional plans and things like that. But just a school that can develop me to the best player I am on and off the field, man. Just building my character, building my game, developing my game to the best it can be. Whether that's accuracy, leadership, being able to push the ball down the field, being able to, run the RPO game, being able to run the ball. All of those things are things that I look forward in the program and me going there.
When it's all said and done, what do you want your high school legacy to be? What do you want to be known for?
That's a great question. Just a great guy, man. Honestly, just a great guy in the classroom. Um, Even if we're just walking in the parking lot or down the hall, it's just one of those guys who you see and it makes your day better. Whether I'm shaking your hand or giving you a fist bump. Even if I don't know you, just one of those dudes who's always he lifts everyone's spirit up. And like I said, man, that's probably my biggest thing. Just my teammates being able to see me and saying, okay, if we're in a tough game right now, I know AJ's going to go get it done. Regardless of has anything gone up to this point, he's going to go get it done. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. As that question.
Talk a little game week here. Film study versus defensive backs. When you're first starting to sit down and review film that week, what are you looking for early? What do you want to notice and try to take advantage of?
Obviously, we look for the weakest links on the defense, specifically DBs. Um, I like to give credit to guys that we play opponents DBs, but we don't really see the best defensive backs in our state. I wouldn't say in our state specifically, but there's a few teams I feel like that just don't have, how far do they back off? Do they press? Simple things like that. Can they run? Can they track the ball? Just things like that. Look for when watching film on the DB.
So let me ask you, man, do you have any goals already for next season? I
Kind
know
of cutting out, my man. I can't really hear you.
oh, you cut out. Hold on. Can you hear me okay now?
I can't hear you at all. I'm sorry.
No.
Let me see something.
I mean,
It's completely froze.
but are both of us frozen? Oh, you're on mute, my guy.
My bad.
You're good.
While he's figuring that out there, I mean, what have you had a chance to see from him as far as a quarterback and why Miami is continuing to push for him even though he's committed to A&M?
Yeah, I mean, he just has a great arm. 20 touchdowns, 3 picks, whole bunch of yards, and 6A Texas football, which, is very difficult. Here we go. We got him back.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I was connected to the Wi-Fi, but I'm back.
No, you're good, dude. Don't worry about it, man. No, it's always a little iffy sometimes with the internet. But well, as I was saying, so do you have any goals right now for next season already? I know it's a long ways away, but do you have any early goals?
I do actually. I'm one of those guys who keeps the main thing the main thing. You know what I mean? And when I say that, just all of the things I went back through in this interview, just being a leadership, working on my game, working on my passes, my accuracy, being able to push the ball down the field, being able to pre-snap read coverages, and all of those things going to one. And that's just getting in the lab with my receivers, my running backs, my offensive coordinator, my head coach. All of those things coming to one.
How did you improve or how did your leadership improve over time?
All right. Like I said, I've always been one of those kids who kind of sit back and let things go, but as having a dad as a professional, who's seen the game and who's seen the best of quarterbacks, such as Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, guys like that. He just told me, hey man, you can't sit back. You have to lead. You have to be vocal. Quarterbacks are very vocal guys. If you see the best of the best, and just me improving, being more of a spokesman, and um, just being able to talk to my guys and handle everyone differently because everyone is not going to take criticism the same. So understanding everyone, getting a real relationship and a real bond with your teammates is very key. Just being able to talk to them and say certain things that you wouldn't be able to say with anyone else.
Our head coach, he's an offensive line coach by nature. That's where he came up. Is having a head coach that focuses on the offensive line important for you?
It's not. Obviously, Coach Jimbo Fisher is a quarterback oriented guy, but I don't think that's a, I don't think that's a huge problem because I mean that's why you have a quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. I mean, so
We
I
gotta
don't.
got guys block for you, you know.
Right? Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
Does early playing time appeal to you? Because recently, Cristobal came out and said he wants young guys to earn snaps and get playing time.
All right. That would be key. That would be great. But I'm more focused on my development and getting better as a player because the worst thing you can do is get up somewhere and not expect much, not really understand the system. It may take a year to get fully invested in the system and truly understand. So I'm not rushing the process. I think wherever I end up, um, I think I just want to develop the best and see where we go from there.
So I just got two more questions, man. The first one, curious, just what quarterbacks do you watch college, NFL, and kind of take things from their game and add it into yours?
Right. Obviously, I love a guy like Bryce Young who can extend plays. He's been great at every level, man. Everyone knocks his height, and his weight, but I don't think that's much. I don't think that plays much of a factor as we've seen. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, and I think he's a great player. And I think just him being able to improvise when things aren't there, and him being able to lead his team is very key. And I like guys like Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady. It's a lot of guys. Aaron Rodgers. I love watching all of those guys play football.
Gotcha. And then, last question, very random, but who's on your game day playlist?
All right. I listen to a lot of Lil Baby. Um, you guys probably don't know Rilo Rodriguez. I listen to him. No
Yeah.
Cap. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but I listen to a little Adele too when I want to zone in a little bit. Get in my quiet zone. I listen to her. She's a great singer, and I've always listened to her growing up. So she you can throw her in there as well.
Got you, man.
I got 3 words for you, Anthony. Miami Hurricanes football. What do those words mean to you?
All right. Just brings a winning culture. Um, Miami has always been historically one of the best colleges, of all time. So I think the thing for Miami to get back on track is, like I said, to bring in a quarterback with that moxie, the confidence, the attitude, the swagger, to evolve the guys to come together. Like I said, all of this interview, just bring those guys together to play as one. I think that first comes to mind when I think of Miami, just the winning culture and how they've been in the past recent years.
go ahead and give a shout out. Show some love to coaches, trainers, anybody who's helped you develop as a player.
All right, first, none of this is possible without God. So I want to shout out to God. Shout out to my mom. She's always been there for me when things get rough, and I feel like, I can't do it. She's always there to be pat on my back. My dad, my grandparents, and my coaches, Drew Causey, my baseball coach, McCardle, my basketball coach, LaRon Brunfield. I want to thank all of those guys for, being helping me be that mentor, and being there for me when things get rough, man. And those are the main people I want to shout out.
Sounds like you got a good circle around you.
I do.
So the last question, well, actually, first, I'll say, go ahead and let people know where they can find you on social media.
My Instagram is my name, AJ Maddox Jr. You can find me on Instagram with that, and then Twitter is Anthony Maddox Jr. It's my first name, and I'm on. Wait, yeah, I'm not on TikTok at all, so I'm not on there. But those are my Twitter. Those are my social media handles.
Okay. And last question I got, man. Last question I ask every recruit. Why do you love the game of football? Where do you get that fire to compete at such a high level?
Right. Man, it started at a young age. Me just watching the guys in the NFL, college, even the high school level guys who I just looked up to, and I was like, man, I want to be like them someday. And my dad is always, preached to me, work hard. You work harder than the man next to you, and great things will come out of it. So just, wanting to be those guys at the top of the level all the time. I just, it just made me want to work hard and be hungry for the game, man. At a young age, I had that hunger, the passion, and that really drove me to, the player I am today and the player I soon to come to be.
Luke, do you have anything else here for our fantastic guest, Anthony?
No, it's all got, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, man. It meant a lot.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Soon to get back on this show and, talk more about you guys. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely want to stay in touch with you. We'll get you back on in the future. Let fans know about your development, your recruitment, all that stuff, So we'll definitely stay in touch.
Sounds good, my man. Y'all have a good day.
Have a good night, man. All righty. That was Texas A&M 2024 quarterback commit. Not often do we get a quarterback commit from a school like Texas A&M to jump on the show, but it's always fun. I've had it happen with FSU with their 5-star running back, Cameron Davis, and that was fun. So I always enjoy this kind of stuff whenever we get a chance to kind of, check out somebody that might not always get a check out,
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, he's just a fantastic quarterback, fantastic guy, and just sounds like an amazing leader.
And we have our last guest backstage here. I think he might be on mute currently. There we go. What's up, Jared?
It's Gerard.
Gerard, man, my bad.
Yeah, all good.
What's up, Gerard? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
We're doing really, really good, man. Thank you for taking the time to jump on here and let Canes fans get more familiar with you. I always like to start it off with what's your current height and weight?
6'4", 250.
Okay. What were some of the off-season workouts you did before this last season that helped you grow as a player?
A lot of explosive work, speed work in the weight room, and then as we got closer to season, before we got closer to season, I was doing a lot of power training. Then as we got closer, it turned into speed and explosiveness and strength. And then a lot of on-the-field workouts, about hour and a half a day, 5 days a week during the summer.
Is there a focus in the weight room right now that you are kind of, zeroed in on?
Right now, I'm focusing on strength and muscle endurance.
Hey, Gerard. Hey, first off, man, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, too.
Yeah, man. So, just tell me, how would you describe your game to someone who hasn't seen you play before?
If you haven't seen me play before, I'd explain my game. I can pass rush from a 5 all the way into a nose guard. At the college level, I'd be playing more of a 3-tech or a 4. But I'm powerful. I love power moves, bull rushes, long arms, but I also have a little finesse in my game. Just a little bit, not too much, but you know, I can stop the run and do the pass. So I got a little bit of everything in my game.
Is that like a focus of yours this offseason? Just add a little more finesse and add
Oh,
that
yeah,
aspect into your game?
a little bit more finesse and speed would be great. I think I can do some dominant things next year with both.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, this year, 12 sacks, 29 tackles, at least recorded. So, obviously a very productive player already. Just what do you think your biggest strengths are right now?
Right now, I'd say coming off the season, I was pretty like balanced. Like you said, 12 sacks. I think I recorded like 30 TFLs this year. We only play 8 games, so I mean, those are pretty good stats for 8 games.
Who's your guys' biggest rival school?
So I've actually just transferred schools from Loomis to Cheshire, our Cheshire Academy. At Loomis, our biggest rivals was probably Avon or Choate, and now that I'm here at Cheshire, I'd say our biggest rival is the Hun School.
While you were playing for your former team last year during your rival game, how did that go?
We won one of them, lost the other one. I mean, they were both hard-fought games. Played well as a team. We just didn't come out with the win.
Do you feel that was your team's toughest battle, or was there another team that was a tougher battle for you guys?
No, those teams are definitely the battle, both toughest battles of the year.
Man, so just talking about your recruitment a little bit, just which schools right now are showing you a lot of love?
I get hit up. I've had to like slowly cut the list down. I'm at a top 10 now, but
Okay.
I've cut a little bit more. So I'm just hearing from some of the schools I still keep in contact with. Recruitment's going good. Just trying to find where's home.
For sure. And, recent addition to that offer list, Miami, of course. Just tell me how that offer came about.
Yeah, coach hit me up, and we've talked before. Basically, like they've been trying to offer me for like the past few months. The offer just has to go through, position coach, defense coach, head coach. I think around late December, they were talking about wanting to offer me, and then they handed out the offer a few weeks ago. So I mean, they said sorry it took so long, but I mean, I understand.
Yeah. And which schools have you had the chance to talk to from Miami?
What you mean? What coaches?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've talked to the defensive ends coach, which I believe didn't he just leave to go to the NFL?
Yeah, I think he's with the Texans now.
Yeah. So I literally texted him like the day before he left. We said we'd get in contact soon, and then Coach Salava, I think is how you say it, maybe.
Salaveo.
Yeah, we've been texting a little bit, and then Coach Cristobal texts me every once in a while.
Nice.
Stepping into a leadership role this next season, how do you plan on showing it to your unit? Is it going to be vocal? Is it going to be with actions, or a little bit of both?
Yeah, so I was a captain on my team this year, and I plan on being one next year too. But I say leadership comes from like your actions, and then you're like also like leading the team vocally. I mean, I think both is a huge contributor, but definitely your actions show more than your words. I mean, going hard every play, just doing what's right on and off the field, all the normal stuff you think football players would do, and then on the field, 100% each snap. First, I'd like to lead the defensive line. Then, from there, I start like leading the linebackers, and I lead the whole defense. But, it definitely starts with that leadership of me taking over the D-line and then working my way up.
When it's all said and done and you're finished with your high school career, what do you want your legacy to be? What kind of player do you want to be known for?
Just like a player that's like on and off the field, a genuinely good person. But on the field, I want to be known as like the most dominant player to ever come out of the Northeast.
How much have you enjoyed your recruiting process up to this point?
I've enjoyed it a lot. I mean, not many kids get to go see all the best colleges in the world, and like out of the million kids that play, only about a few thousand go play football at the college level. Then even less. So I'm like really blessed just to even have the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. And, do you have any set in stone visits of where you want to go in the spring, or is that still getting organized a little bit?
Yeah, I have some schools in mind, talking it over with parents. But we do plan on taking some March, April visits.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And when it's all said and done, when you ultimately make that decision, just what do you think will be the most important factors that you'll be, I guess, weighing through? Just the most important things they want to see from these colleges, from these coaches.
Yeah, the way they develop their players. I mean, I want to see who they put in the league. Like, not even who they put in the league, who they currently have on their roster that they've developed. Like, I want to see where they're at when they came in as freshmen, and where they're at junior, senior year. So, development is like the biggest thing that like these colleges can offer to the kids. So that's definitely number one.
In your opinion, what traits make an elite defensive lineman?
Violence, very violent. I mean, if we're talking interior, you got to be like really, really violent. But I think across the whole board, violence, and then if you want to play edge, 5 tech defensive end, you need the violence and the speed. But definitely violence is like what makes a defensive lineman.
What's your favorite pass rush move?
It depends.
So you got something different for whoever you're kind of coming up against, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going against a guy that takes forever to shoot his hands, I'll just long arm him or rush him. But I mean, if I have somebody that likes to shoot their hands early, I like the double swipe off the edge. If I'm going interior, I like a chop club or like just a chop. But it just all depends.
Yeah, I appreciate that in-depth answer. Honestly, I do.
Who are your favorite defensive linemen to watch? And it could be college or NFL.
Last year is definitely Will Anderson. It was very fun to play. Aiden Hutchinson the year before, he's very dominant. If we're talking league, I like to watch the Boza brothers pass rush. That's about all I really like pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. What have you learned the most throughout your high school career up to this point?
And like what way?
Just, I guess, as a player, just the growth. Where have you seen the most growth just as a player? Well, you can answer it that way.
Yeah, I mean, like the most growth out of me, I mean, I've had a lot of ups and downs, just I've learned throughout, the 4 years I've been in high school so far, if you want something, you're going to have to work for it. Freshman year, I wasn't happy. I wasn't playing much. I was getting like bad minutes. So, I put in a lot of work on the off season. Sophomore year, I started. So I really just learned you got to work for what you want. I mean, if you want the Division I offers, you got to work for it. And then once you start getting them, you still have to work to maintain them. It's not about getting the offers. It's really about, I want to go to college and be able to play, not go to college, sit the bench, get a few rings. I want to go to college, contribute for those rings.
Yeah, no, definitely. And do you have any goals already for your senior season?
Yeah.
What are they, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so like the first goal is here in prep school we play 8 or 9 games. And, I want to average 2 sacks a game, so if that's 18-ish sacks. But I mean that's hard because like up here, last year I got double teamed a lot, like a lot. Sometimes triple teamed with like the running back. So it wasn't very fun, but I mean I still had a good outcome. But that's my first goal. Second goal is to be more violent. I want to have more TFLs this year. I want to cause havoc on that defensive line. I want them to be running the opposite way every play.
What gets you most excited on game day? When you're out there with your guys, is it before the game? Is it during the game? What gets you really pumped up?
I'd like to say warm-ups is like, or actually pregame locker room gets me going. Then warm-ups is where I get really pumped up. Then, once we start making big plays, that's what really gets me going.
When I was watching your film, I noticed some nice hand work technique and strength. Where do you get that from? Is that natural, or is that something that you're truly building all the time?
So I've always been a pretty strong kid, but I've had to work on that. I had to really work on athleticism in the off season this year. So that's like where the finesse comes from, like the speed that I had to develop. But the power has pretty much always been there. I've just gotten it better throughout the years.
How much would you say that, watching film and just studying your game has improved your play overall?
Watching film is very huge. If we're talking about watching it on yourself, you watch like your steps. If you're taking wrong read steps, like if I have a go right, like am I stepping with the right foot first? But like when studying offensive linemen, I like to see like how like are they lower on run? Like are they leaning more? Are they like step back more when they're pulling or passing? Sometimes they'll take different like splits like between each other. Then that's how you know like, oh, is he about to pull? He's tighter to the guy. Different stuff like that is what you study. Is he a high hand type of guy, low hands?
For sure. And last question I have for you, man. Who is on your game day playlist? Who are you listening to?
I don't really have aux on the speaker. I kind of listen to whatever gets played. But I mean, I like Kanye. I like Drake before games. T Grizzly. I think everyone listens like the same songs before game day.
Mm,
But I mean, those are like some of the top ones we listen to before a game.
sweet. So you're saying if you did have aux, that's what you'd be playing?
They don't ever give me aux. I mean,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Happens.
Cristobal recently said in an interview that he wants young players to earn and get more snaps. Is that something that's appealing to you?
Yeah, you mean like earn their playtime, not be handed?
Yeah, not just be handed their job, but actually like truly earn those snaps and get that playing time.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I don't want somebody to play over me just because they're a senior. I want to walk in and earn my spot. I don't want to be given anything. You don't get better being given anything. I don't want to be promised no starting job. I want to show up and work for it.
Great answer, man. Go ahead and give a shout out here to some of the coaches, trainers, family, just anybody that's really helped you along your path. Go ahead and give them a shout out.
I'd like to first thank God, for giving me the ability to play this amazing game. Mom, dad, grandma, every single family member has contributed in some sort of way. If that's to get me to visit, come support me at a game. Family, friends, huge role in like where I'm at today. They took care of me whenever my parents couldn't due to like work reasons or something. I'd like to thank my old trainer at Loomis. He contributed a lot to my development. He got me down to the weight I needed to be at and all that. And I like to contribute friends, family, trainers, old coaches, current coaches, and Instagram for giving me D-line drills.
At Loomis, did you play with Jackson Carver while he was there?
Yes, he didn't get to play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I did get to experience him as a person on and off the football field. He didn't get to play, but he was at every single practice, contributing any way he could. So that was huge. I mean, off the field, he's perfect student you could think of. So he's a great friend, great guy.
Did you get a chance to get to know Alos Alanen?
Yeah, Olas?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my boy. Once again, perfect example of leader on and off the field as well.
Yeah.
He takes the game very serious. I mean, weight room. I learned a lot from him. I watched the way he worked out in the weight room and I replicated it. He goes hard every single rep. And I was like, you know what? This kid has Alabama, Miami, every single offer you could think of. I want to be just like this kid. So I was like, yo, let's go out to the field. Let's run ones. I was getting my butt whooped at first, but over time you just get better going against competition like that. So he's only done nothing but good for me.
I was fortunate enough to get a chance to interview him, I think 3 times before he made his college decision. So I got a chance to get to know him fairly well. He was just very upstanding guy. I mean, I see big things for him on and off the field in the future, honestly.
I do as well.
Go ahead and give fans your social media plugs. Where can they find you on social media?
Instagram, Smith_Gerard. That's about my only social besides Twitter, which is just Gerard Smith 44. Don't really have TikTok, but I mean, if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's just my name, Gerard Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last question I got for you, man, is a question we ask every single recruit we bring on the show here. Why do you love the game of football? Where do you get that passion to go out and compete at such a high level on a weekly basis?
I just want to make it in life. I'm not the smartest guy, I'm not the most athletic guy, but football has given me a way out of like the situationship we're in. It's an escape from the school world, all the other stuff. When you're on the football field, you just like get to play football. those 2-hour practices or 2.5-hour games is just an escape. But I want to make it to the NFL and just take care of my family. That's my why. I think that should be everyone's why. They want to be able to take care of their family, be the best man they can be. So yeah.
Well, man, currently, ranked as a 4-star, ESPN Top 100, and UA All-American. You're making some noise, Gerard. Definitely, man. Props to you for that.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for taking the time to come onto the show here and let Canes fans get a little more familiar with you. We definitely want to stay in touch and bring you back on in the future so we can update fans about your recruitment, development, all of that stuff.
All right. Sounds great to me, man. Just let me know when.
Sounds good, man. We will definitely stay in touch, and you have yourself a great night.
You too, bro. Bye.
Have a good one.
That's a big-time defensive lineman right there, guys. Like I said, ESPN Top 100, UA All-American. This guy's no joke, dude. Gerard Smith is just getting started, honestly, too. And I didn't know he was at Loomis before he went over to Cheshire, which is interesting because I got a chance to actually talk with some of the Loomis coaches and that kind of stuff. And I know that he was getting very, very good development from them. So to go to Cheshire, which is also another very good academy in Connecticut, he's going to get built right, I think. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, he's, you mentioned his accomplishments already. Very, very good player, very versatile player. Can play nose, can play 5-tech. I mean, you can line him up pretty much anywhere, and he'll make an impact in the game. He has a very bright future ahead of him.
Yep. Well, that was the last interview that we had for tonight. We had 3 fantastic guests, in my opinion, honestly. 3 truly fantastic players that Miami is keeping a very close eye on, which I would suggest for Canes fans to do the same because these are names that we're going to continue to hear about as time goes on. Once again, we appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out the Croot on the U, brought to you by the Scoop on the U. Luke, once again, thanks for always being my co-host on this, man. I always appreciate it, dude. And as always, go Canes. It's all about the U, baby. We'll catch you guys next week.